Now the first thing you need to know about cutting techniques is you've got to have a great knife and a great cutting board. It's your preference whether or not you want wood or you'd prefer plastic or some of the new sort of newfangled cutting boards that are available these days in culinary shops. But you got to have a great place that you can work, otherwise it's not going to be enjoyable, and it also can be a little dangerous. The thing about a good knife and a well-sharpened knife is it makes the cutting so easy. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different techniques here, that the cuts that I love to use. Why cuts are so important is because you want things to be uniform in your dishes. You want things to easily, I always say to people, think about everything being on a fork or in a spoon and you putting that in your mouth. So the first cut I'm going to show you is a matchstick cut. And you know what? I'm going to demonstrate all the cuts on a carrot. A matchstick, you start out with a particular cut, which means you're cutting very thin on the diagonal. And when I say thin, it's not paper thin. I don't, you know, gosh, that's like a, think of it as maybe a little thicker than a nail. And you want it on a diagonal, as I said. And you know, you can take that diagonal wider or you can keep it short. A good rule of thumb is that you're coming up here to the tip of where you last cut and going down to the far end. There's a couple of techniques certainly about cutting, which is always keep your fingertips out of the way. And one of the ways you do that is to just curl your fingertips underneath and lightly place them. I mean, again, a carrot is so easy to demonstrate this on. But this is a good one to practice all your cuts. Okay, good enough for now. Now what I do is I then turn these over into just little mounds, maybe about 3 to 4 of the diagonally cut carrots at a time. You don't want it to pile up too much, then it becomes a little difficult to cut. And from there, same idea, hiding my fingers, letting the knife just rest up here on my knuckles, against my knuckles. And here, the same idea. It's not paper thin, but it's thinner here than it was on the diagonal cut. And think of a matchstick. This is a very popular cut in Japanese cuisine. I think it gets a little overlooked in our American cooking, because let me see if I can get them a little bit thinner. I like them thinner. And let me go at my pace. And this is after 20 years of cutting matchsticks that I can go at a much faster pace. And you as a seasoned chef out there or home cook with good cutting skills, you should be able to pick up the speed as well. How's that? Okay. So that is called a matchstick. Now the next one is a very similar cut, but it's a French cut, and it's called a chiffon. All right, so how do we do this? We cut it in half, make it smaller, your carrot, then cut it in half again, right? And then turn it and cut it straight across, maybe about 1/4 thickness. Some of them will be a little thinner. And then you turn that on its side, same technique, knife resting against knuckles. There you go. That's what you're looking for. Just more long, stick-like. And again, you have some choice here as to whether or not for the thickness that you want with this cut.